Trigonometric ratios. Here we're given two pieces of information, one about the sine of x and the other about the cosine of x, and we're asked to evaluate the other trig ratios using the given information. So we'll start by recalling that the cosine is positive in this quadrant. They're all positive in quadrant 1. The sine is positive in quadrant 2 and the tangent in quadrant 3. And so the angle that's described is in quadrant 1, where both the sine and the cosine are positive. So we'll start with the right triangle, and let's call this angle x. And remembering SOHCAHTOA, we have that the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So now that we have our right triangle identified and we know we're talking about quadrant 1, we can list the 6 trig functions. The sine and the cosine were given. The tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Later on, we will rationalize that denominator. Now, the cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine. The secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. And the cotangent is the reciprocal of the tangent. So let's start by rationalizing this denominator. We'll do multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. The secant of x equals 2 radical 3 over 3. So we'll rewrite it with the proper form. Now let's take a look at the tangent. Also has an irrational number in the denominator. We need to rationalize that denominator. So the tangent of x can be rewritten as the square root of 3 over 3. We'll do another example, but not in quadrant 1. The secant is the reciprocal of the cosine, so we know if the secant is positive, the cosine is also positive, and the sine is negative. And so the quadrant that happens is quadrant 4, where the cosine is positive and the sine is negative. And we're talking here about a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, because we see that familiar ratio of square root of 2. And using SOHCAHTOA, the secant is square root of 2 over 1. So the cosine is 1 over the square root of 2. So now our 6 trig functions. The sine is given as negative root 2 over 2. The cosine we can read as 1 over the square root of 2, which is square root of 2 over 2. The tangent is negative 1 in quadrant 4. Now the reciprocal of these ratios, the cosecant is negative 2 over root 2. The secant is 2 over root 2, and the cotangent is negative 1. We need to rationalize both denominators where there's a radical in the denominator. So the cosecant of x is going to be negative root 2, and the secant of x was already given as root 2.